Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on All the Ways We Said Goodbye by Beatrice Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White. All the Ways We Said Goodbye is the third collaboration by authors Beatrice Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White. The narrative takes place over the course of 2 world wars and follows 3 women who are united by their connection with the Ritz Hotel in France. First is Aurélie, a young heiress in 1914 who runs away from her mother and travels to her estate in the countryside of France, where she falls in love with a German soldier. Next is Daisy in 1942, who is disgusted by her husband, who is a Nazi collaborator, so she becomes a spy for the French resistance. Last is Barbara in 1964, who travels to France to uncover the secrets of her dead husband. These 3 women are separated by time, but they all share the same desire to make a difference and learn to find love in the most unlikely of places. And that is the best plot summary I could come up with, yeah guys. This book, there is a lot more going on than what I just even shared with you. Seriously, this book, there's quite a lot going on. Because yeah, other than what I just kind of briefly brought up, there's a lot in this novel that has to do with the legacy of an ancient family name. There's also this whole thing with a family talisman that has been like dipped in the blood of Joan of Arc. That's a big deal, and yeah, this talisman is said to protect France during troubles and whatnot. And then yeah, there's also a French spy running around named Lafleur. So yeah, this book is pretty crazy. There's a lot going on, and like I said, this book is wrote by these 3 authors, Beatrice Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White. And yet each author is dealing with a different era, pretty much. Because yeah, you have somebody who is writing in 1914, someone who is writing in 1942, I believe, and then someone who is writing from like 1964. So yeah, each author is tackling their own little area, and it all has to kind of mesh in a certain sort of way. Our 3 main characters, they all eventually somehow connect and tie together in very interesting and unexpected ways. And yeah, kind of the big commonality that connects the 3 women is not only just their location of being in France, but also the Ritz Hotel in France. So the Ritz Hotel plays a big role in the lives of these women. And kind of the unique thing about this novel, because you, the reader, you are more aware of the fact that these 3 stories have to somehow tie in together. So for the most part, you, the reader, are quite a number of steps ahead of even the characters, which is kind of interesting. You, the reader, are figuring things out at a quicker pace and connecting the dots, and it's kind of the fun of waiting for the characters to catch up with you, the reader, if that makes sense, and to kind of witness their moments of revelation when something's kind of been revealed. But yeah, you, the reader, are kind of already aware of the fact of what some of the connections might be. So it's kind of like one of those types of books. It does kind of have this mystery sort of element to it, but it's not really so much about the mystery. You know, the book is not really so much about the mystery. It is about the lives of these 3 women, how they connect, and a lot of it does have to do with just these various different romances that these 3 women have, and what those romances mean to them, and how they grow as characters, because yeah, all 3 women they're just kind of suffering from some sort of inner demon and inner turmoil that they have to deal with, and yeah, at the center is the Ritz Hotel. And what is it? What is connecting all the women? So, like I mentioned in my quick plot summary of this book, this is the 3rd collaboration by Beatrice Williams, Lauren Willig, and Karen White. This is their 3rd book together, but this is actually my first book buy them. I do own their other books, and the other two books being, look it over here real quick, The Forgotten Room and The Glass Ocean. And that's two other books that they have all collaborated on together. And they affectionately call each other Team W because all of them, their last name starts with a W. So yeah, they call themselves Team W. I'm probably going to sit here and call them Team W as well, just to make it quicker. And the good thing about this book, even though it is written by 3 authors, I could never tell that fact, which I think is a good thing, because a lot of times I'm kind of wary whenever I see multiple authors on a book. Sometimes I'm a little bit wary, like, am I going to be able to tell the difference, you know, especially between chapter transitions. But yeah, I mean, I never noticed that this felt like it was being written by 3 different people. The book as a whole, it read incredibly smoothly. I think there was nothing about it that felt disjointed or anything, or just kind of all over the place, because even transitions, you know, chapter transitions, one chapter might end and make some sort of reference, and then the next chapter will pick up with another character, and there might be some sort of little reference there relating to something with how the previous chapter just ended, for instance. You know, some little thread is kind of continuing through, and it helps make a clear transition, a smooth transition between the chapters, and it helps you, the reader, feel like this is all being told by one person, you know, even though it's 3 different characters, it's still kind of making you feel like, okay, this is all being written by just one person instead of 3 people. So yeah, for me personally, this book read very smoothly, I think. So all of the applause, not just for the authors for putting this book together, because yeah, there has to be a lot of communication, obviously, between the authors, like, okay, this is how I'm going to break up my chapters, and this is where my chapter is going to end, you know, because all of the authors, they need to be in sync, you know, they need to be in sync with what's kind of being revealed, what's kind of being set up, because yeah, even though this book takes place in 3 different eras, you know, 3 different time pieces and 3 different characters, it's like they all still need to connect, you know, they all need to connect, and it needs to make sense to you, the reader, as you're reading. So yeah, not just applause for the authors themselves, but applause for the editor. Whoever edited this book, I think, did a fantastic job as well, putting it together and, you know, kind of helping with the order of chapters, essentially. So just talking about the book really quickly, I just really love the book, you guys. I really love this book. I was a bit hesitant, like, am I gonna like it? But I did. I thoroughly ended up enjoying this. I really loved how the 3 main characters, how they did kind of connect. You know, what was the connection tying their stories together? I love the setting of France and all of the events taking place at the Ritz Hotel. And yeah, I guess just starting off with some of the characters individually, I really loved, first off, Arlie. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, you guys. It's like a very French name, and I'm not French, obviously. But Arlie, something like that. Arlie, her character starts in 1914 during World War I. Arlie is very hopeful and naive, and she feels like she has all of this weight and responsibility on her shoulders, like it's up to her to protect France during this horrible time. And yeah, she has this family talisman that was supposedly dipped in the blood of Joan of Arc, and yeah, the women in her line have been in possession of this talisman, and it's the women in her line that have been given this mission of protecting France, and that's why she feels like she has to protect France at all costs. And yeah, her character is just so fascinating, and yeah, she falls in love unexpectedly with a German soldier. I loved their relationship. Very well done, I think, because yeah, she's kind of, you know, really wary about him since he's the enemy, and it's like, should I flirt with him just to get information, or am I genuinely in love with this guy? So yeah, I love their relationship. And then moving on to 1942, we're now in World War II, we're following Daisy, Daisy, she's just so dissatisfied with her life. Her husband, he's pretty much a Nazi collaborator now, giving the Nazis information, working with them, and she's disgusted by that. And yeah, she feels like her calling is to make some sort of difference, and she becomes part of the French resistance, becomes a spy, and yeah, it's here that she falls in love with somebody who's part of the resistance. And another fantastic relationship. I love the relationship she has with this other spy. Very well done as well. And yeah, I really liked where Daisy's story went. And then the third one we have takes place in 1964. We're following a woman named Barbara. Her husband has just recently died, and she's traveling to France to meet with this American guy who has some information about a spy named Lafleur, who was part of the resistance but apparently turned traitor at some point. And through his research, this American guy has discovered the name of Barbara's husband. So yeah, Barbara's curious about all of this, as well as this American guy. So yeah, that's kind of the bulk of everything. And yeah, Barbara, I really liked Barbara as a character, because yeah, her husband has recently died. She's grieving, but she kind of knows a few things that have made her a little bit angry, and she's kind of questioning her marriage. But yeah, here comes this American guy that she kind of just unexpectedly falls head over heels in love with. So yeah, this book, all of our three main characters, they have a lot of weight and responsibility on their shoulders. They're finding love in unexpected places. I think for the most part, this book, it tries to be a mystery in some places, but I think for the most part, the book is really more of like a romance, you know? So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It read very smoothly. I was entertained. I was engaged. And yeah, the novel doesn't spend too much time on, you know, silliness, you know? Everything in this book, the chapters all matter, you know, the chapters kind of matter. The chapters and the narratives are pushing forward constantly, because this book is like it's a little over 400 pages, and there's a lot of story to tell, you know, there's a lot of story to tell, so there's no room for nonsense and silliness. The story does have to move along at a certain pace in order to fully tell this story, and I think it moved along nicely. I personally really enjoyed it, and yeah, I definitely recommend this if you love stories that take place over multiple different timelines. I recommend this. I recommend this if you love any of these authors, because I love Lauren Willig. That's why I picked this up, because I love Lauren Willig. So yeah, if this is your type of thing, I recommend it. I definitely recommend checking out some more Goodreads reviews, possibly, because yeah, this book is kind of hit or miss with certain people, because yeah, some of the things that other reviewers disliked, those things didn't bother me personally. So yeah, I love this book. So you guys, that is it for my review of All the Ways We Said Goodbye. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Do you plan on reading it? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.